I do want to bring in Congressman Benny Thompson, Democrat from Mississippi, and the former chair of the House January 6th Special Committee. Congressman and Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for being here. I actually asked earlier this afternoon for my team to reprint your opening statement at the very beginning of the January 6th hearings, in which you referenced the Civil War, the sort of last great conflagration and question of whether we would remain a unified democracy. And so I am very curious to get your reaction as someone who presided over the hearings that gave us so much of the detail before this detail that helped us understand what happened on January 6th. Your reaction to this indictment?
Well, thank you so much, Joy, for having me on. First of all, let me say none of us take any real pleasure in where we are at this point. But I think we all have to understand that as a nation of laws, even a president or former president is not above the law. And so we have to go forward as a nation of laws, identifying what those challenges are. What our committee did, I think in great detail, we told the story. A lot of what we hear and see in this indictment came from the body of work of our committee. So I feel from a vindication standpoint that our committee followed the facts. I feel that the facts, after following them, spoke for themselves. So it's not a proud day for us, but in order for democracy to stand, from time to time, we have to get tested. And what we have right now is a test of our great democracy.
And you are a plaintiff in a lawsuit that uses the Ku Klux Klan Act to, challenge Donald Trump on the violence that took place. And we saw so much footage that was later misused, I would argue, by Speaker Kevin McCarthy and handed over to a now fired host at Fox so that they could try to manipulate what we all saw and sort of gaslight us as to what we saw. What is the status of that case? And what do you make of the fact that Donald Trump is not charged with anything to do with the insurrection and the violence, but the violence and the potential for violence is described nonetheless in the indictment?
Well, I think, first of all, when I became chair of the committee, I stepped back from the lawsuit. I thought it would be a conflict. I think there's value in the lawsuit. I'm convinced that what occurred on January 6th, based on the evidence we'll find in court, former President Trump potentially had a lot to do with it. The indictment says that. But as important, Joy, is this notion that 3 of the 4 charges that in this indictment came directly from the work of our committee. I'm convinced that the public viewing the body of work and DOJ looking at it, feeling that at this point, given what we've seen and what we've collected and what has been shared by the committee, we have to go forward. So to some degree, we created a path for the Department of Justice to start its formal investigation. So I'm thankful that Speaker Pelosi at the time appointed the committee, because the Congress failed to set up a bipartisan committee. But as you know, we had to do something. And so those several hundred witnesses that we interviewed, so much of the information that we see in this indictment came from those interviews. So over time, I'm convinced, Joy, that more will come.
And we know that some key figures, such as Mark Meadows and obviously Vice President Mike Pence, refused to come before the committee and testify. And having seen all of the evidence and reviewed all of the evidence and chaired the committee, what do you expect them to be able to add as, presumable witnesses in this case?
Well, obviously, it would have been nice if the Vice President, as well as Mark Meadows and some others, including members of Congress, had honored the subpoenas but they didn't. I think in this venue now, they don't have a choice. They'll have to come forward under oath, and I would hope tell the truth. Once the truth comes out, I'm convinced that those facts in the indictment will be proven factual. It is clear that based on the information of our committee, the president started taking advice from individuals other than the people who have been working with him during his presidency. He brought in what some people referred to as a clown car because the individuals that came to the White House offering advice were not people that people in his administration agreed with. And they told us in the hearings, as well as in the depositions, that they disagreed with him. And they told the president of their disagreement.
Congressman, we really appreciate you being here. Congressman Benny Thompson, former chairman of the January 6th committee. Thank you, sir. We really appreciate you being here, and hopefully you'll come back because we're going to continue to talk about this. Thank you, sir.